The Dragon King of the Eastern Sea stroked his beard and smiled carefully. "Wait, great sage, stay your hand. My 3 brothers rule the southern, northern, and western seas. If you need armor, perhaps one of them can provide. I have but to sound the iron drum and strike the golden bell, and they will come in an instant." Wukong leaned back and waved a hand impatiently. At once the turtle general seized the drumsticks, and the crocodile captain rang the golden bell. The deep notes rolled through the ocean like thunder trapped in a shell, vibrating through every corridor of the Crystal Palace. In moments the sound raced across the 4 seas, and the 3 brother dragon kings felt the alarm pulse against their scales. They dropped what they were doing and rose from their thrones. They came swiftly, the Dragon King of the South Sea, Ch.3, the Dragon King of the North Sea, Shun, and the Dragon King of the West Sea, Run. They gathered outside the Crystal Hall and asked in one voice, "Brother, what urgent matter calls us so suddenly? Have you sounded the alarm for war?" Their faces were grave, their claws ready, their oceanic armies poised just beyond the palace gates. The old Dragon King of the East shook his head sadly and told them everything. A self-proclaimed sage from the mountain of flowers and fruit had visited that morning. He had refused the steel fork, scorned the painted halberd, seized the divine iron from the riverbed, and now sat in the palace demanding armor. The old dragon spoke of it with trembling lips, hoping his brothers might help send the creature away. Ch.3 of the South Sea erupted with fury. "Brothers, let us gather our armies and capture this insolent beast." But the old Dragon King raised both hands in alarm. "Do not speak of fighting. Do not even speak of it. That iron weapon, if it grazes you, you die. If it brushes you, your flesh splits. Even a light touch shatters bone and tears sinew. We cannot fight him." Run of the West Sea spoke calmly. "Second brother, do not provoke him. Let us assemble a suit of armor and send him on his way. Then we shall write a memorial to the Jade Emperor in heaven, and heaven itself will deal with him." The others nodded slowly. It was better to appease the monkey than to face that terrible iron. The heavens could punish him later. Each brother offered his finest treasure. Shun of the North Sea brought out a pair of lotus silk cloud-walking boots. Run of the West Sea produced a suit of chainmail forged from golden links. And Ch.3 of the South Sea, still fuming, presented a phoenix-winged crown of purple gold. The old Dragon King rejoiced, led Wukong into the Crystal Hall, and the 3 brothers offered the gifts with formal bows. Wukong pulled on the boots, buckled the golden chainmail, and set the phoenix-wing crown upon his head. The full armor blazed with celestial light. He seized the golden staff and strode through the palace gates, laughing over his shoulder at the 4 Dragon Kings. "Sorry to trouble you. Sorry to trouble you." The kings watched him go with dark, resentful faces, already drafting their memorial to heaven. The Monkey King parted the waters and soared back to the iron bridge, rising from the waves without a single drop of moisture on his body. He walked toward them gleaming like a sun god, golden crown blazing, chainmail shimmering, each step ringing on the stone. The 4 old monkeys and all the waiting subjects fell to their knees. "What splendor, great king! What magnificent splendor!" they cried. Wukong mounted his throne with a spring in his step and planted the iron staff upright in the center of the hall. The monkeys, curious and foolish, swarmed around it, grabbing and heaving. But the staff did not budge, not by a hair. It was like dragonflies trying to shake an iron tree. They staggered back, biting their fingers and sticking out their tongues. "Heavens, how heavy! How did you ever carry such a thing?" Wukong strolled forward, opened his hand, and scooped up the staff as if it weighed nothing. He laughed and told them the story. The treasure had rested in the sea for countless centuries, glowing only this year. The dragons had called it dark iron. the divine anchor of the Milky Way. None of them could lift it, so they begged him to try. It shrank at his command. He held the staff in his palm and called out, "Smaller, smaller, smaller." The great iron weapon shrank and shrank until it was no bigger than an embroidery needle, small enough to tuck behind his ear. The monkeys gasped and shouted, "Show us more, great king, show us more." So he pulled it from his ear, set it on his palm, and cried, "Bigger, bigger, bigger." The staff swelled back to full size, thick as a bushel basket and 2 fathoms long. Wukong laughed and ran outside, then performed a spell that shook the heavens. His body grew 10,000 fathoms tall. His head became a mountain, his waist a towering ridge. His eyes blazed like lightning. His mouth gaped like a pit of blood. The staff in his hand pierced up to the 33rd heaven above and plunged down through the 18 hells below. Every tiger, wolf, panther, and demon on the mountain, all 72 cave-dwelling monster kings, fell to their knees and kowtowed until their skulls cracked against the earth, their souls scattered by terror. Then Wukong withdrew the spell, shrinking back to his normal size, and tucked the needle behind his ear. The monster kings crept forward and bowed again, offering their congratulations and submission. Drums thundered and gongs rang out across the mountain. Wukong laid out a great feast of rare delicacies and coconut wine for all his subjects. He appointed the 4 old monkeys as his commanders, named the 2 red-bottomed macaques as Marshals Ma and Lu, and the 2 long-armed gibbons as Generals Bong and Ba. All matters of camps, formations, rewards, and punishments he entrusted to these 4. Now his heart was at ease. Day after day, he soared on clouds and mist, roaming the 4 seas, delighting in 1,000 mountains. He practiced his martial arts, sought out every hero and wanderer, displayed his divine powers, and forged bonds with warriors